MiniWarGaming's The Utgard Infestation!
Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and it's time for another story time and a couple more battle reports for the Utgard Infestation 40k narrative campaign, featuring Sisters of Battle and a Gene Stealer cult, and an Inquisitor, and some Imperial Guard, and all sorts of other stuff as well, but mainly featuring the Sisters of Battle and the Gene Stealer cult. So a bit of a recap. If you haven't yet watched the missions from last week, make sure you go back and do that, because I'm going to tell you what happened there, at least a quick recap. And so we had the two missions. We had where Celine was trying to rescue the sisters, the distress beacon that she found, and Inquisitor Croyle, who was accompanying a bunch of Sisters of Battle who were going to root out the cult who had planted and set off the bombs in one of the Manufactorum districts. So first off, talking about Inquisitor Croyle and his attack, they got ambushed, and they got ambushed bad. Mortars came flying down, missiles were fired, last gun shots, even a couple Carnifexes started bounding out and attacking. But the sisters held true, and they were able to cleanse, but at great cost. More of the sisters have fallen to this. They're taking far too many casualties through this campaign that it's just going to have a permanent scar on this convent. And Inquisitor Croyle was unfortunately unable to capture the leader of that local cult because he was killed quite horribly by, I believe it was actually by a fighter that came down and just blasted him, and he died. So he was picked to pieces. Oh no, I think it was from the Razorback. Doesn't matter. The leader had died, and when he collected up all the rest of the cultists that were there, he found that most of them couldn't remember anything that happened in the past few weeks or months, that they were under some sort of mind control, and now that that cult leader was killed, that they seemed to be released from that. That didn't stop him from purging all of them, of course, but he wasn't able to get any good information from them. Meanwhile, Celine is down underground in the underbelly of the Hive, trying to rescue the sisters who had disappeared, and between her and them were more Gene Stealers and more Tyranids, and even Haruspecs. And so the full extent of this infestation has just been befuddling to her. But thankfully they were able to make this rescue and purge the Tyranids from there. But the information that Celine learned from these sisters who had been doing the scouting earlier was very troubling. Of course, they told her that it's actually a Gene Stealer cult and not a Chaos cult, but Celine was already very aware of that. But what else they told her was that when they were scouting deep in the underbelly looking for this cult, that they actually came across sections where all of a sudden it's as if a portion of the underbelly was just removed and replaced by organic structures, organic hallways and organic caverns, and almost as if they were inside of some huge organic creatures. And there was eggs, and there was hatching areas that looked like they were ready to breed more Tyranids, and even came across more Tyranid organisms that you wouldn't find in a Gene Stealer cult. And anything that they've read or heard about Gene Stealer cults just does not match this description. It's just something that there's something else going on, and they don't know what it is, but they know that there's a greater Tyranid threat there than they originally thought, which they originally thought there was no Tyranids, that it was chaos, and all of a sudden it's a Gene Stealer cult, which is already bad enough, but now there's these larger organisms, and of course now they've come across the Haruspecs, and Inquisitor Croyle has come across Carnifexes, and they've come across Raveners, and this Patriarch who just seems so bizarre, that Celine realized she has to get back to the surface, and she has to report this to the governor and talk to the Inquisitor and just figure out what they have to do in order to acquire the resources to go in and just do a full military campaign to burn and purge whatever it is that is underground here. So as they go back to the surface, and Inquisitor Croyle is having no success with the cult survivors, he is very intrigued by the Carnifexes that he came across, because he also realizes that this is not something that he would normally find. And this of course excited him, because he just was interested in the research aspect of this, so he could learn more about this Tyranid infestation. And so he's also a little suspicious, though, of the planetary governor, because somehow the cult knew exactly where and how to hit them when they came looking for the bombers, the terrorists. And they were too well prepared, and the Inquisitor's too smart to just pass up the idea that somebody high up must have given the details of them going over there and leaked that information. However, in the short term, he's not able to find any evidence against the governor or anybody high up or any of the military. So he's not able to take any of the actions. But of course he will investigate that more thoroughly. But first off, his mind is distracted by actually studying out what is going on with the Tyranids. So Commander Celine finds Inquisitor Croyle and relays all the information that she had. And this was just too much for him. He just had to go and see for himself what was going on down there. And so he asked Celine, he almost orders Celine to accompany him with a bunch of Sisters of Battle. However, she has to decline, because while he's talking to her, she receives some very dire news. The shrine that they have been sent here, that the reason that they're on this planet to defend, was just the target of another terrorist bomb, and exploded and destroyed a good portion of the shrine. And this, of course, is of utmost importance to the sisters, and they have to refuse this Inquisitor's desire for them to help. And thankfully, Inquisitor Croyle is not one of those Inquisitors who's like, all right, you didn't listen to me 100%, therefore I am going to order, I'm going to call you a traitor and a heretic and have you destroyed. Croyle was understanding enough to let them go. And instead, he requisitioned some of the veterans of the military force, as well as his own personal retinue, as a war band of crusaders and death cult assassins, to go down and find out for himself what is going on there. Now, meanwhile, the governor issues a military force to move over and assist the sisters with finding out and investigating what happened at their shrine. What the sisters don't know until it's too late is that he's actually sent this military force under the guise that the sisters are actually infested by the chaos cult, and that's what he's told his forces, and that he's actually sent them to finish them off and destroy their shrine and kill all the remaining sisters that are still there. So this is so obviously the governor is not friendly, and we're going to find out more about that as time goes on. So he sent a force. There's Sisters of Battle already at the shrine, and Celine is going there too to reinforce it. She doesn't know that this force is being sent, nor do the sisters know that this force being sent is actually there to destroy them, because it's not until they're too close that they then start opening fire, pretending, of course, arriving under the guise of helping and then opening fire once they got close. So those are our two battle reports for today. The first one, Mission 3A, is going to be the Sisters of Battle fighting off this Imperial Guard force. So it's actually not going to have Genes to the Cult there. It's going to be Sisters of Battle versus Imperial Guard. And we're going to be using the Altar of War Defend the Shrine special mission. So it's just almost identical to that with some minor tweaks. And then Mission 3B is going to be Inquisitor Croyle underground, fighting the Tyranid threat down there and trying to delve deeper. And what Inquisitor Croyle is first trying to do is he's found that there is this there's a large elevator shaft that's large enough to fit tanks, to actually fit larger vehicles, that he wants to activate so he can bring down more reinforcements, because as it is right now he can only fit small things like sentinels and just people, and he wants to be able to bring down hellhounds and Lehman Russ tanks to purge the alien that is down there, to purge the Xenos threat. So that'll be that mission as well. It'll be a 1,500 point game underground, and this will be like half Zone Mortalis, half out in the open as they come into the cavern of the Hive infestation that is down there. So the links are right here, Mission 3A and 3B. Of course, 3A is available for free on YouTube, and 3B is available in the MiniWarGaming Vault. And if you are not a Vault member, you can still click that link and go and get a free 7-day trial and try our Vault. Why do we do that? I have some people that ask that every once in a while. Why do we have the Vault? It is what supports us. It is how we make the money. Advertising does not make us enough money through YouTube. It wouldn't support even one of our employees. It just isn't a lot of money in the YouTube advertising for this market. And so we have the MiniWarGaming Vault, which allows people to pay a small amount, as low as $3 a month, to help us to be able to make these videos. And with that support allows us to keep the lights on, pay the employees, get our miniatures, to purchase our miniatures and terrain and everything else that we have here, and allow us to make these videos. So if you are a Vault member, thank you very much for your support. It allows us to do all of this, and we love it. So go ahead, click the links below, and happy wargaming.